Get ready with me for a Barbie themed girls dinner. And while I do my makeup, I thought I would tell you guys some things about myself because I really don't talk about my personal life on here. I keep it strictly makeup. My name on here is Pamela, and I've had that username for years because I started a written blog in 2011 and I do still have a website. It's under construction right now. My full name is Pamela. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I've never moved and I even stayed local for college. By the way, I went to UNT. I've always done makeup my entire life. I've always done my friends, my sisters, and even my teachers. Fun fact, in the 8th grade during lunch period, I would actually go into the teacher's lounge and do everyone's eyebrows with these super creepy electric tweezers. When I was 13, my sister got me this Kevin Aquan book called Making Faces. It was sold at Charlotte Russe at the time, and I studied every page of that book like my life depended on it. And even as a child, every time I walked by a Mac counter or into a Mac store, I just got this really interesting feeling inside me, like I just knew I was going to work for the company one day. And that actually came true in 2006 when I was offered a job while I was a freshman in college. And working at a makeup counter in college was tough. I worked every single Saturday because in retail, it's an act of Congress if you want a weekend off. But I learned so much about makeup, people, and overall just life in general. In fact, I know Barbie is trending right now because of the movie, but I actually worked at Mac at the time that they had their Barbie Mac collection in 2007. Don't get me wrong, I love everything Mac. At the time that I worked at the company, they made us wear these awful itchy wigs to replicate the visuals and displays in the store. And that was my least favorite event at the counter. And while working at the counter, I got to meet some really interesting people. And back in the day, freelancers coming to your home wasn't as popular, so everyone would come to the makeup counter to get their makeup done. And after I left the company in 2010, when I was graduating college, I kept up with that book of business because I had no idea where life was going to take me, but I knew that I could always count on makeup. So when I get comments about the amount of knowledge I have in regards to makeup skill, technique, and application, it's because I worked at the company for quite some time and acquired quite a bit of knowledge and touched thousands of faces. And I still keep in touch with my very first manager at Mac, and she is still in the beauty industry as well, which I think is super cool. And as I mentioned, I went to University of North Texas, so I graduated with a degree in business finance and fashion merchandising, and I actually used my degree. I became an assistant buyer at a high-end luxury retailer based in Dallas, and I worked in ready-to-wear and I worked in bridal. And this luxury store was attached to a very luxurious hotel in Dallas, and so anytime someone famous came into town, they stayed at this hotel, and anytime that a Dallas-based team played a team from out of state, like football, basketball, baseball, they all stayed there. So I got to meet so many athletes' wives and significant others, managers, and I've even had to sign waivers to be on TV because they would film reality shows in the store. And while I worked as an assistant buyer, I just missed makeup so much. There was not an opening in the beauty department of that company, and I just knew that was the calling for my life. So I started a blog in 2011, and shortly after that, I quickly realized that you can talk about makeup all you want, but it's such a visual art, so I needed the video component. And on New Year's Day of 2013, I launched a YouTube channel. YouTube is such an intense social media platform in that you really do have to show up, be consistent, and put in a lot of work on the editing. Also, there were no how-to videos on how to do any of this. This is 2013, and it was like kind of every man out for themselves, and it was hard. So as much as I am not this person anymore, at the time I gave up. I would start, stop, gain traction on my channel, then stop, because it was just so discouraging and I was getting really burnt out at my fashion job, and it was just hard to stay positive and motivated. I did find success along the way. In fact, I was featured in Allure magazine because I was in a beauty blogger contest that they had. In fact, Tati Westbrook was in that exact same competition as me. And in February of 2014, I finally decided to leave the fashion industry. I just needed a break from all of it, and I transitioned to medical sales. But once again, the makeup bug came calling my name. I just knew I wasn't living up to the calling on my life. And I know that sounds so corny, but when you have that like pit in your stomach, that nudge, that just like feeling where you're like, I need to be doing something else in my life and I'm not doing it, and I'm gonna really regret it if I don't do it. That's what I'm talking about. In 2018, while still working in the medical field, I decided to go super hardcore on content creation. I would get up every single day before my job. I would film a full makeup tutorial on my Instagram stories, and that's how I got used to making short form content. So when 2020 rolls around and everyone's locked down, I was already so used to putting out content on Instagram on a daily basis that it was so easy for me to just take that and run with it on TikTok. And never in my life did I get views like that. I'd been chipping away at content off and on for about a decade at this point, and I was finally getting traction. So in the fall of 2021, I left the world of medical sales and took on social media full time. So if you take anything away from this, just do not give up on what you want in life and listen to that little voice in your head that's telling you that you are made for more. I know this sounds so corny, but if I would have ignored it, I never would have been able to do this as a full-time job. I never would have been able to build this community on here and talk to so many of you guys. I'd probably still be in the medical aesthetics world of hair transplants and hair restoration. Also forgot to to mention that I did get married in 2016 to my high school sweetheart. We actually went to prom together, and he is super supportive of my career. And I don't do these often. I really do just try to keep things strictly beauty on here. But every once in a while, I feel like I want you guys to know just a little bit more about me. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna do this again because it made me do my makeup so much faster. So leave some questions down below regarding anything I shared, like my college experience, working in the luxury fashion industry in Dallas, or just questions about social media. And I'll be sure to answer them in the next video. Thanks for watching.